We call it here the artist talk. We have Katharina, Michael, Andriy, and Natalia with us. And I would like to give you the microphone and to present yourself. And maybe you can link this to one impression you have about the Corona time you want to share, about the new normal, anything very short, what is on your head, heart, or somewhere else. And the first, Katharina Goerig from the Goethe-Institut. The microphone is yours.
Thank you very much, Julian. I must admit, I'm not an artist here in this artist talk. Yeah, I work at the Goethe-Institut, and I must say that I also watched the stream, and yeah, it's a little bit unreal because this was, if I'm not mistaken, in March, and it feels like years ago. And since then, so many things happened online. I think for us here at Goethe-Institut Ukraine, this was really the first Corona digital cooperation kickoff, yeah. So it was nice to see it because it's a little bit, for me, a symbol of when it all started. And I remember that for the premiere, I was luckily at home in my family's home, but I was really sad we couldn't celebrate this beautiful production together, but only on Zoom with drinks, a little bit like here. Now we are getting used to it. So yeah, it was nice, but strange at the same time also.
So for you, I guess it feels a little bit like a piece of history already. So for a long time. And I will give you the opportunity to tell us a little bit about the background of this project. But before, I would like to hear a voice from Mariupol, from Natalia. And we will hear this, I think, via translation. So also, could you just briefly present yourself and maybe one thought or feeling you have about this special Corona time? Share with us.
Добрий вечір, мене звуть Наталя Шелгунова, я вчитель німецької мови у Маріупольському міському ліцеї. Це не просто школа, це ПА-школа, одна з 17 шкіл, які отримують підтримку від Goethe-Інституту у справах розвитку німецької мови. І наші школярі дуже активно і завжди беруть участь у різних конкурсах від Goethe-Інституту, у різних ініціативах. Вони завжди дуже мотивовані і зацікавлені у цьому. Тому ми завжди відкликаємося на пропозиції, якщо якісь отримуємо. Що стосується ситуації з пандемією, з ковід, Катерина щойно сказала, що для неї сплило вже багато часу спочатку карантину, спочатку всіх цих подій. Я навпаки відчуваю це навпаки, наче все відбувалося ще вчора, і нічого ще не забулося, ці всі моменти, коли ми переосмислюємо, переоцінюємо, коли ми змінюємо свій підхід до сприйняття реальності і до сприйняття проєктів, до сприйняття нашої роботи, до відносин зі школярами, з якими ми перейшли на навчання онлайн. Це все теж було непросто, але ми справилися з цим, ми це зробили і отримали новий досвід. Дякую.
Okay, thank you. Dankeschön nach Mariupol and Natalia. To those who are new, please be aware that we have a bilingual session here, and go to the planet. And if you want to hear only English, that's totally possible if you click on English, not on Korean. Yeah, thank you, Katharina. Thank you, Natalia. And Michael, from the Academy of Theater and Digitalität. Wow. Is that a baby of Corona times, or was that, did you have it before? And maybe also a statement about this Corona time. What does it do with you as representative of the artist scene?
Well, the Academy is quite new in the theater field. It's founded in 2019 after a very long time of preparation, I guess, of 3 years. And as I understood it, it was a bit like we were the only department, I guess, in whole Europe who had much more work to do than before, because we didn't stop working, and we had here in our artistic research department in the Academy, we had several students and fellows here who did their research projects. And on the same time, there were lots of institutions, festival theaters from all over Europe who were asking us, what can we do in these pandemic times, and how can we present theater? What's a good deal, or what's a good work to do, or what's a good mood in a way, or well, a good setup also in technical questions. What's a good setup for theater makers? And therefore we had lots of work to do, and especially concerning on this project, it was not our first experience concerning this bilingual, and also well, this play between 2 different places with a distance of 3,000 kilometers, in fact. But we learned a lot about well, about theater, and the possibility to also, especially for students or young people, to work on theater and at the same time include the technical questions. And therefore it was for us a project, well, how can I say, we had enormous learning outcome for ourselves work.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Andrei, representing the GOGOLFEST Theater Festival. For you, the same situation like for Michael? So no change, even more work and even busier? Or are you representing the kind of the normal artists who have a hard time and struggling and redefining themselves? How was the situation for you? And maybe you can also present yourself a little.
Thank you for question. Hello, everybody. I could say that still for me, it's fantastic, unique adventure that we did together. And I think it's one of the first real experience when you continue to discover, to make research. And this is, I totally agree with Michael, because this is something that we never did before. This is new territory when offline and online theater projects, not only theater, it could be different field of art, could be combined, and we predict a new type of arts in some way, new type of languages, new type of instruments for communication, for acting, etc. So this is story, and maybe the key message about all this potential and all these possibilities that we found when we did it together. That's why I really would like to use this point and to say all colleagues, all partners, all participants, big thank you to be brave and to be ready to do something when you can't do physically, but you could continue to do online.
Thank you, Andrei. And maybe you want to say 2 words about the GOGOLFEST, because we might not know about that too much.
Yeah, very little. GOGOLFEST, it's a multidisciplinary festival. So we work with different fields of arts. And we do festival in whole Ukraine, in different regions. And also we are a platform for international collaboration. That's why I'm happy that this project birthed in the frame of also with participants of the festival, and we built these cultural links between cities, between companies, between artists and persons.
Okay, thank you, Andrei. Katharina, could you give us a short, short history or evolution about this project that had to switch the midwife, and so what is special for you and for the Goethe-Institut about this project? Why did we pick this as an example for us activists to hear about? And I think there are 2 or 3 more new people. Just one thing. You can use the chat to put a question or inspiration that you had while watching the stream. And we have 2 languages here, so go to the planet and switch English, I guess, and Korean would be more Ukrainian. Katharina, so what is the history and the background of this project and the specialty?
Yeah, thank you very much. I would like to use your question also to reflect a little bit on why do we actually present this project here. Yeah, in the Civil Match Forum, we are gathering civil society actors who would like to present or to pitch a cooperation project to the Federal Foreign Office. And actually, Lorenzo is a result of a cooperation project that we have here. The Goethe-Institut came up with the idea or had the wish to explore a little bit further theater and digitality. Yeah. And we were wondering what are the perspectives for theater in terms of digital tools. And and at the same time, you know that Goethe-Institut also organizes a lot of youth exchanges. And we know that in Germany, the idea of youth theater is actually widely spread. Yeah, there are lots of youth theaters. Some are even integrated in schools. But in Ukraine, it's rather rare. So we thought, it could be interesting to put these 2 points together and to create youth theater, youth production between Ukrainian and German partners. Yeah, and you already presented Michael as coming from the Academy for Theater and Digitality, and you see that, yeah, actually this is the right partner to explore questions like this. And on the Ukrainian side, we have ГОГОЛЬFEST, who also explored the role of digitality in theater, who also organized conferences on that. And so it was quickly clear that we wanted to cooperate. Actually, this is not a new match that Goethe-Institut has created, but ГОГОЛЬFEST and the Academy are part of the European Theater Convention. Yeah, so I would rather say that this was maybe a chance to go a little bit deeper on this cooperation. So yes, on the one hand, we had this academy, and on the other hand, what I really value with the ГОГОЛЬFEST is that it's based in Kiev, but at the same time, ГОГОЛЬFEST is active all over Ukraine, yeah, and for instance, also in Mariupol. And this was the chance for us to also become active in a city that is based in Eastern Ukraine and actually not far from the front line. So in terms of project development, this was interesting for us not to stay in the capitals, but to go a little bit out. Yeah, I mean, also the Academy is not based in Berlin, but in Dortmund. And I think what Michael and Andriy and their teams set up in a very nice way was that, you know, sometimes we see some co-production where you have the director from London and then the actresses and actors from Ukraine. But what we had here, there was a team like German-Ukrainian team of directors, German-Ukrainian team of project partners, German-Ukrainian team of students who are actors and so on. So yeah, and maybe last but not least, maybe one thing I can spoil is that so this project was actually planned before the COVID-19 as a digital theater project, but this didn't mean that we didn't care and we just continued working like this. Actually, not at all. And I think to some point the project really was at a risk, and we were feeling like there's such a heavy load. First of all, the rehearsals could not take place. Yeah, and then the school exchange, the second one, could not take place. The young people could not go to Mariupol. Yeah, so actually it was a very depressive moment. We were on the phone all the time, what to do, shall we cancel this? And yeah, we thought that we had to cancel, but in the end, the partners really were so, yeah, I don't know, they were so strong to continue, which was actually not easy like this. Yeah, it was a big workload, also under time pressure. We had this time pressure because we wanted to present this production during the ГОГОЛЬFEST. And yeah, maybe it's a little bit of a miracle that actually in the end we had this production, and this is what you have seen so far. And I think Andriy and Michael can explain a bit more on how this had to be adapted, and also Natalia can probably explain what that meant for the students. So yeah, that's...
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Katharina. That's exactly what I wanted to bring to this point to Natalia, to raise the question about how did you manage to keep in touch with your students and to motivate them to, hey, this is not the end, we have to keep on, and also this theater project should go on. Was that a critical situation, or was it easy to motivate and to keep the energy up to come to this wonderful result?
Насправді ми підтримували зв'язок з нашими учнями, тому що в нас продовжувалося навчання онлайн. Я їх регулярно бачила в Zoom і розмовляла з ними, і ми спілкувалися. Я не можу сказати, що це було мені дуже складно підтримати їх мотивацію, тому що це була подія у їхньому житті. Це була велика подія, це був елемент, який робив їхнє життя на карантині досить таки одноманітне, досить таки, не знаю, без особливих якихось яскравих моментів. Ця подія робила їхнє повсякдення. Тобто репетиції, зустрічі з іншими студентами, зустрічі в Zoom, якісь завдання, які вони повинні були зробити самі або з родиною, щось зняти, отримати реквізит, гарно виконати завдання режисера. Все це треба було зробити, і все це робило їхнє життя більш насиченим та яскравим. Тобто я не можу сказати, що це було мені дуже складно їх мотивувати. Десь в якісь моменти треба було підтримувати трохи, можливо, дисципліни, коли всі повинні були з'являтися своєчасно. Такі моменти завжди є, але то все таки робочі моменти. Взагалі, я вважаю, що цей проєкт був дуже корисний для дітей, тому що вони змогли розкритися взагалі з інших сторін і проявити себе в іншому плані. Сам театральний проєкт, я була дуже здивована тим, як розкрилися учні, вони стали такими, якими я їх не знала раніше. Вже під час репетицій, під час проб, коли ще це можливо було робити офлайн, а потім під час онлайн роботи, під час онлайн репетицій, це вже було продовження, це вже був рух у заданому напрямку, але результат мене вразив, насправді. Я не очікувала від дітей таких можливостей, скажімо так.
I think also for me, this was a very strong element of the project, that we had a view into their very private life and surrounding, and to see, yeah, that actually also, well, you couldn't say if that is Dortmund or Mariupol, and if this person was German or Ukrainian, and yeah, and to see in what kind of surrounding they are, and I think that's what you don't get in the theater, in the theater performance, and they also wouldn't. So that's a kind of paradoxically. So you are so in quarantine into yourself, and in the end, this project made them to show their really private, their bed, their desk. I think that was very, very strong about that project. Now, is there any other skill you think they learned from this project? Or what did they tell you? How was it useful also for them?
А вже ж, окрім того, що я побачила сама, тобто те, що вони розкрилися, те, що вони стали більш відкритими, комунікативними, також для мене як вчителя, я в першу чергу вчитель, не тільки координатор різних проєктів та організатор їх, для мене дуже важливо, щоб вони перейшли якусь межу, яка відмежовує їх від іноземної мови, для того, щоб іноземна мова стала частиною їхнього життя, для того, щоб вони перестали сприймати мову просто як навчальний предмет або як те, що вони повинні вивчити. Вони повинні сприймати мову як засіб для спілкування, для отримання інформації, для того, щоб використовувати її в житті. Для мене це дуже важливо як для вчителя. І такі проекти, насправді, вони дуже сприяють досягненню цієї мети. Взагалі, коли мене питають, чому ти береш участь у таких проєктах, чому це стільки часу забирає, це стільки клопоту додає, але мені дуже важливо витягти дітей на той рівень, коли вони мене за собою тягнуть. Тобто, коли вони досягають певних результатів, коли вони вже чогось навчилися, тоді в них просинається зацікавленість, інтерес, і вони кажуть: Наталю Володимирівно, давайте ми ще щось будемо робити, щось ми давно нічого вже не планували. І це дуже класно, насправді. Це дуже, дуже допомагає у роботі, допомагає утримати настрій, утримати мотивацію не тільки вчителя, але й дітей, і зарядити енергією, і самі зарядитися, і дітей зарядити, і отримати від них потім зворотній зв'язок.
Yeah, thank you for these impressions from Mariupol. Michael and then also Andrei already wanted to jump in, and I want to give them the floor. Andrei, I heard that you wanted to say also, maybe jumping, I would like to be interested in what you felt, how was the interaction with students, and what this digital world brought to them. And but Michael first, you also wanted that.
Yes, I guess Natalia is totally right. Art saved the children from depression. This is the very first and very elemental thing in this theater project. And on the second hand, I guess what I learned is, there I'm very full of deep respect for all the young people. They fight this pandemic back in a way, because they come so close together, besides the fact they are performing and rehearsing in a virtual space. They come so close together, and they were part in a way from one rehearsal to another, I have the impression that I can't feel the real distance between Mariupol and Dortmund. And I don't like to say, well, they become friends in a way, but they were so close together in the exchange of the ideas. How can we deal, or how can we tell our stories, and what are the young people suffering of during this pandemic and so on. So that I have the impression that they come really close together in a way, and so that this virtual space becomes in a way also a realistic one. And this is really interesting because for all theater makers or all people who work in these international projects in a way, and in this kind of collaborations, I guess this virtual space is not an obstacle in a way, but much more a challenge on the one hand, and also it gives new possibilities of working together in a way, and also being aware of the other 3,000 kilometers away, for example. And because you have to be much more respectful in the way you talk, for example, to leave the space open so that the other can respond. And you have to think much more on the other side of the project. And this is very, very interesting. What I saw when the youngsters performed and have played this performance.
I think this is a very crucial question for all of us who are now designing new projects. And the big question is, so if you say they came so close together, I mean, that's exactly the question we have. Can the digital world, can that bring the same or similar effects? Can it create this warm atmosphere that people come together and get to know each other, build trust? And I imagine I felt it from what I watched, that yes, these youngsters got together. They might not have fallen in love, but at least they produced something together.
But only an annotation to that, because I guess there are rules, for example, for the space, or also for the work we are doing in this virtual space. And what I recognize also in this discussion right now, the half of the windows are closed or black. So I talk to the people I know, and all the others are black, and I can't get in contact to the visitors of the performance tonight. So I can't really get an impression if they are if they found it interesting, or was it boring, or and therefore I'd like to say, in each virtual discussion or virtual theater project, we have to define new rules for working together. Also new rules of language or description what we are doing, and we have to be very, I guess, much more in the normal life to be much more accurate in a way. So if I'd like to formulate a wish, I'd like to say, please turn off your video screens. Turn on your video screens, I mean, or your video cameras, if you are still there.
Yeah, sometimes it has also some connection issues, but so for those who heard Michael's wish, please make it more warm here and show your faces. Thank you, Natalia, Victoria. Okay, finally, Andrei, you already wanted to jump in when we talked about the effect on the students and with the work on the students. Maybe you want to also share your perception of what this digital world brought to the students and how the work was for you.
Yeah, I think it's very important part of the project. You hear me well?
Yeah, now it's good.
Yeah. what we need to clarify that it's totally changed the way how you act, and it also changed the way how you direct and how you organize the process. And if we talk about children, we also could say that parents, their family also were involved in preparation and as a part of the performance. If you see the final scene is open the door and harm. And this is really a key moment when people united. Yeah. If we talk about process, how it was, I think it's really important new value that even children could understand that your gadget could be your stage. You could do with this strange thing, unbelievable. You have unbelievable opportunities. Now you are at the same time director, actor, stage design, operator, visual artist, performer, etc. This is gift for you. And this is really, I think, was one of the most important and interesting process to see how children, teenagers, change their behavior in the frame of the preparation to their role, how they understand that their room is space for acting, how they could use the space to present itself, etc. So it's really a fantastic story.
Thank you for sharing this with us. So my first question here was, is it possible, and how was it possible that you created an energy to come to a product, and now actually we come even to one step further. So if you say there are rules, as Michael said, so there are something you have to, it's not just working like that. Maybe you could share something about these rules, and then if you stick to that rules, and if it happens, and maybe there's actually something we can take to the post-corona time. So you mentioned something about how we communicate. So we have to be more accurate. Yeah, as sitting in a circle, sometimes we can interrupt each other. We can be late. Here, yeah, maybe it's we learn something about communication. About also here, Andriy just said about performance and gadgets and using this accurately. So maybe, and I give now the floor to all four of you. Everybody who wants. So what kind of rules do you think you had to stick to and were functional, and you could think that these might be helpful also for our project? And what are the things you think from your project the kids and you maybe learned also for post-corona times, and we can take it to offline world? I don't know who wants to go first or who feels. I think, Michael, you were the one saying that there were rules. Maybe you can.
Yeah, I guess what I'd like to add is, for example, maybe it's not a rule, but as a learning outcome for the youngsters, they had, in a way, much more knowledge about using these digital technologies, like for example, these Instagram apps and so on. And we take them with a certain respect of their knowledge, and proposed them to do or to change also the static format of the performance to another way, to their way. So that means it's a certain kind of respect. We how can I say that we gave to the youngsters, and so that they were possible to formulate also their wish concerning content, concerning especially these this flash mob, sorry, and concerning the content, concerning this kind of aesthetics, for example. We tried lots of things. And I guess this is really important to encourage them in technical questions and also in artistic questions. And this kind of respect of responsibility, I guess this is really important, yeah. Not to say, well, we do it like that, but much more how we can come together in the virtual space. And then being aware of the things which are happening.
Thank you, Michael. Natalia, Katharina, or Andrei, do you want to add anything to rules you think that were secured in your project and could also be a good advice for future projects in digital world, and also something we can take to offline world? Natalia, please.
Я думаю, що ми зараз живемо в такі часи, в ексклюзивні часи, які більше, можливо, не повторяться у майбутньому, яке ми можемо собі уявити. І ми повинні вчитися. Тобто правило, яке я б могла запропонувати, це ніколи не опускати руки, завжди шукати позитивні моменти і використовувати ці моменти як найкраще, намагатися використати як найкраще ці моменти, тобто взяти найкраще від того, що ми маємо. Ми маємо таку ситуацію. Да? Наш світ, я мала таке відчуття взимку, у лютому, в мене було таке відчуття, що світ просто рухається зі скаженою швидкістю, просто неймовірно швидко. І потім наступив березень і закрили все. Тобто світ майже зупинився. І ми спочатку, звичайно, всі дуже здивувалися, ніхто в це не міг повірити, як це так. Це ненадовго, це буквально на тиждень-два. А потім зрозуміло, що це досить довго буде ще продовжуватися, і треба змінювати своє відношення, адаптуватися, обирати і брати від життя те, що ми можемо взяти, і робити з цього це таким чином, щоб нам подобалося, щоб ми отримували від цього задоволення. Я вважаю, що діти також це зрозуміли, учасники це зрозуміли, і це ми можемо використовувати не тільки під час пандемії, а і по закінченню, коли все пройде, коли життя повернеться до нормального ритму і до нормальних не дигітальних, не тільки дигітальних стосунків, да? Коли ми зможемо зібратися також офлайн. Ось таке моє враження. Тобто, підсумовуючи правило, якщо сформулювати правило, треба брати від життя найкраще з того, що воно нам пропонує.
Thank you, Natalia.
I want to add
yes.
to Natalia. Natalia, you mentioned the attitudes, yeah? And I think that this is really one of the core lessons learned for me from this time, maybe not only from this project, but from the last months of project work, is that, yeah, actually it's very simple, yeah? But don't say that it doesn't work. Just try it out. And we made the experience when we transferred all the projects to a digital solution. Some were working fine, some were not working very well, and some were, I think, yeah, we have a new concept that we will stick to in the future. And I want to give you one example. We had an artist in residency program, and of course for me the challenge was better to make it digitally, because otherwise the opportunity will get lost for the artists. Otherwise, lots of people will not get paid. Yeah, it's also a big question. So we said, okay, let's make an artist residency program online. But at the same time, I was thinking like, come on, no one will believe that this really works. Yeah. But then we tried it out, and of course, it's not like a residency program as we know it, but still, I would argue that there's an added value in this online residency collaboration format. And so maybe we have discovered not something that could replace the offline format, but something that we could use in the future additionally to the offline formats. So I would propose to really see these times as a big laboratory for future formats. And yeah, really first try it out, and then you can still say it doesn't work. And at least then you are able to say in which way it really doesn't work, or in which way it maybe works to some extent. So my rule would be on the attitude, yeah, try it out at least. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, these are not not strict rules. So I'm asking, we'll start in a second the final round of questions, if there are any. So you can also just remark something and make a statement here to the artist with 5 more minutes. But Andrei, your microphone is yours.
Yeah, I will be very shortly. I think there is no rules.
You are a little, one rule is loud enough so that we can hear you.
Yeah, it's first.
Perfect.
Yeah, now good?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we could use some energy from Steve Jobs. He said, stay hungry, stay foolish. And this is, I think, this energy that we could go in this strange world when online, offline combine. And I know that a lot of people could maybe not agree, and they do opposite, like online, this is not offline. It's totally another feeling, another emotion. It's totally on the left bank. And offline, this is our expectation. I think it's something that could be really united and could really bring a new value to audience and to participants and to makers. So this is my expectation from this and my rules that I use.
Yeah.
Maybe only one sentence in addition, because I guess this is a very, very important point, because we are suffering all over the world. For example, if we look at the climate change movement, how can we suffer, or how can we feel a person, let's say in South America? You can't do that if you don't see him or her in the virtual space, like a Zoom conference or whatever. But the pandemic is a case studies in a way how we can be aware of the people on the other side of the planet, because we are able to see and to get in contact, and much more than, for example, via Skype or via email or whatever. But now it's also a certain kind of exercise we are doing in feeling the other, and so creating in a way a new we, in a way. And this kind of we is also could be a political subject in a way. And this is also in this if we look in these strange times where so many strange things in the political sphere are happening, this is really, in my opinion, a really important thing, I guess. Being aware of the other, you don't know, but you can get in contact with him or her on the other side of the planet. And this is, I think, what I don't know before Corona time. I had an impression, but not practically. I mean,
yeah, I also think so. For many issues we have on this planet, we need kind of a global empathy or an empathy
Exactly.
or somehow, yeah. And maybe Corona pushes here to train a little more. And maybe this is just a step that the global village will come true one day and helps us, pushes us. Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you for these ideas and this motivation. Here, Natalia, this is a remark I won't read out loud. I would rather give you the microphone.
It's a little bit hard for me to talk now. Yeah, but the general thought is we need to remember about self-careness, and maybe we need more self-responsibility, because we are responsible of our space, like physical space, and yeah, we need to manage it, and maybe such practices of self-careness should stay with us in the after post-pandemic time as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other remark or question to this artist talk, or to Michael, Andrei, Natalia, or Katharina? We reached the 45 minutes that we have planned, and I want to thank you, Nata, for this wonderful translation. That's all. Thank you that you're visible. Right? Many times translations are just, no, they are somewhere in a box. Yeah, thank you. And thank you for these ideas. So we learned that there are, we might be rules, we should be brave. That's what Natalia said. We should always look on the bright side, and there are learnings, and even these learnings might open us doors to a more beautiful world, to a more world of empathy, even though we see so many cracks now and so many people that are confused and scared and I think are frightened, and that's why they believe in some theories or that will that want to divide us. So yeah, and arts saved the young people from depression. I wouldn't exclude old people here. So I think arts can save everybody's people from depression. Thank you. Thank you for this piece of art and for this interesting evening. I enjoyed it. And I hope